Good morning. My name is Sherry Simpson. I am a transformational life coach, and I was going through the Animal Wisdom Tarot this morning, and I have some really cool different card spreads. So this morning I was thinking about health and how many of you have actually, excuse me, exactly, started following me because of what's going on with autoimmune conditions and throat conditions for you, because many of you have underactive or overactive thyroids, and you know that I have actually healed Graves' disease that I used to have. And so many of you are interested in, craziness back there. Many of you are interested in how I did that. So today I want to do a bear pause, which is one card in the middle that has to do with the present and how you're feeling now. One card about your thoughts about the situation and how you're feeling. Another one about your actual feelings. Another one about direction from spirit and what spirit wants you to know. Inner wisdom, your higher self and guidance. And then another card about your future outcome if nothing changes. So with the future and with doing like psychic readings and cards and things like that, again, I've said this before, that psychics don't necessarily tell the future, but the future is seen based on probability and based on what you're doing now and based on what your thoughts and feelings are and how connected you are to your inner self and your guidance. So that's where a psychic's information comes from. It comes from, if nothing changes, what is going on in the future. And the first card I pulled up was the Camel for the present. So if many of you are feeling like you're not drinking enough water, or that you can drink a ton of water but never pee, or an interesting thing about throat conditions is that because the Camel often has to do with water and has to do with how much fluid you're bringing in and out, the thyroid often has to do with, or can be connected to, your gut and how you deal with water. But for me, it had a lot to do with fear, and fear is one of those emotions that your kidneys tend to hold. And for me, many people, when I was going through my healing, they told me that I was actually holding on to other people's fears, so it was almost as though I thought that I could handle it. So I didn't want other people to be afraid, and so I literally was taking on other people's emotions as the empath that I was, even as a kid, and didn't really know it. So one of the first energy healers, Paula Favaro, she's in the Essex County area. When I went to go see her, she's like, you're carrying a lot of fear. And she's like, I don't think it's yours. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But she's definitely not the only person who told me that over about a 3 or 5 year period. So it's very interesting because fears are definitely attached to the kidney. And actually, the first time I had an Akashic record reading, I was told by, her name is Susan Mann, who did my first reading. And I read the Akashic records now, so it was my energy healers have been very influential for me. But she told me that there were things going on in my body and things shifting, and my water usage and the kidneys were the safest place for things to be sitting or being held before I was actually releasing them. And so even though my water usage was out of whack, and for a while I actually thought that I had diabetes insipidus, which is just a misuse of water, before I was told that I had Graves' disease, because my water functioning was really weird. So it's very interesting that I pulled the Camel for our very first. So the Camel is meant to be you and your general relationship and your reaction to the situation. So if I actually take a peek at this, this is considered the Seeker of Branches, which is the Knight of Wands in the regular tarot card. So let me show you the camel. So the camel is actually in the front, chewing on a weed. Everything is quite dry everywhere. And there are 4 camels in the background. Everybody is looking to the past. So this card is an air card, and because it's a seeker, and a fire card because of branches. So everything that has to do with fire, or branches, is a fire card because you could set the branches on fire. So the quality of this card is that it can be energetic. Camels can go a long way without water. It can be unpredictable because, you know, camels are said to like spit water and things like that. They can be very persistent, and so this is meant to be you. So in this reading, I am doing this for anyone who's watching, anyone who's having any kind of health condition, anyone who is coming to watch this at any point in time, and anyone who's looking for information from their highest self and source, and looking for guidance to moving forward. So the message here is small steps lead to great distance. So that's definitely true for a camel, which is interesting because if you do have some kind of autoimmune condition, then it's not something that happened overnight. It's definitely something that has been going on for years. That's just been a buildup and a buildup and a buildup. But it also means that small steps can take you forward in great distances as well. So as soon as you start making small changes into the future, then you can actually make huge differences in how your body is feeling and the signs and symptoms you're experiencing with your current condition. So that's great. Anything else? So the camel teaches pacing and stability and stamina, that's for sure. It probably took you a long time, as I said, to get to where you are, and it may feel like, oh my God, I have an autoimmune condition, or oh my God, my body is ill, I'm never going to get out of this. Okay, well, that's not true. So you can either live with it as it is and just keep doing what you're doing and just, like, you know, stop there, or you can start taking small steps. But it's definitely up to you. You get to be the camel, so you get to decide whether you're going to stick your head in the sand or spit water at people, or whether you're actually going to move. Let's move on to the next card. The next card are your thoughts about your situation, so it has to do with your mental focus. I'm going to stay with the animal deck so far because I'm not drawn yet to leave or change decks. So how are you thinking about your condition? Most people, I got 2 cards. Let's use, there's way too many there. Let's use this one. Crocodile and butterfly. Yep, there we go. Interesting relationship between these two. So you would think that a crocodile and a butterfly would not be a very good pair. This card, Masters of Discernment. This card is the 20 in this deck. It's a major arcana card, which means those thoughts running around in your head are pretty big thoughts. So let's see what the book tells me about these. These are different than some of the regular oracle cards, so I like to poke into the book, especially for the Animal Wisdom Tarot, because I find the information that's provided is very intriguing. Oh yes, this is in traditional tarot. This is the Judgment card, and so you are likely judging yourself about how you got to where you are. You may be judging your doctors. You may be trying to figure out, you know, why me, when it comes to something like a health condition or an autoimmune condition, or even if you're just upset at this point in time because you've gained weight over time and you haven't been taking care of yourself. I love this mug. My friend Stephanie got me this mug when she stayed with me years ago, and I adore it. The Life is Good mug. So it reminds me every single morning how good life is. So this card is the Judgment card. Because the butterfly is in it, you definitely know that this card is about change, and it's about renewal, and it's about transformation. The crocodile is looking into the past, so it's definitely a card about looking into the past and knowing that things can change, and that things probably should change if you do have some kind of autoimmune condition or disorder. Forgiveness is also in the lineup here as a key word, and a lot of times, mostly, we need to just forgive ourselves for treating ourselves so poorly and for giving all our time and energy to other people rather than doing what it is our heart desires. So these two are interesting allies, and I mentioned that at the beginning. You wouldn't expect a butterfly and an alligator to be friends or to be allies. And one of the cool things about the alligator is it's in the water, and water is also like very deep and very transformational. The sun is there to help dry the alligator, so that means that you are likely having some thoughts that are sunny. A lot of times people really know or want to know what they have when it comes down to an autoimmune condition or disorder, because all of these things are going on with them and they don't understand why, and they don't understand what they are. So sometimes you can actually be put into a place of peace and finally like, oh, at least somebody can tell me what's wrong with me. What I want you to think about, though, is transforming your thoughts on that, about nothing actually being wrong with you, but about you going through certain transitions through your past in order to get to where you are, and knowing that if you are capable of bringing yourself into where you are now, that you're also capable of transitioning yourself into where you want to be. And so there are many choices and transformations and transitions that you can create yourself. So I love the sun in the card and the butterfly here, because you can actually create a beautiful ending if your thoughts and beliefs and patterns are moving in that direction. So be aware of your thoughts. Let's see what the next one is. The next one is about feelings and how you feel about the situation. So this is more about the mind. And the next one is more emotional. I get the sense that for any of you, if you have health conditions, your emotions will run high. Yeah, that one. Snake and Ace of Branches. So this is the Snake and Ace of Branches card. I just realized that there's a flower laid across the ground out front, and it's a different kind of flower than the snake is climbing up within that tree that the snake is climbing. The snake is climbing up. You notice we got branches again, so this is the Ace of Branches, which is like the Ace of Fire suit. And the Ace of Branches is, in traditional, the Ace of Wands. It is a fire card. So when you think of a snake, most people think of a snake as in a Kundalini type energy, growing energy. The thing about your feelings with me is that manifestation, when you're trying to create something in life, has to do with a vibration. And I like to explain it by people being here at a vibration where they've turned their frequency to, say, the country station, but they really want to be up here, and this frequency is actually at the classical station, or vice versa. And so you actually need to shift your vibration from where it is, or change your station, in order to get from where you are, which is this place of possibly an issue with your kidneys, or an issue with an autoimmune condition affecting your throat, or an issue with fear. and you actually want to get to this level. So you need to change your frequency. In order to do that, you need to be willing to put some fire underneath your emotions in order to allow yourself to get from where you are and to transform from where you are to where you want to be. And that transformation, it takes courage and it takes passion. So that's definitely what you want to boost yourself with. But for me, when I'm teaching manifestation, I like to teach that emotion is vibration. So if you're stuck at the country station, then your emotions are here, and then when you broadcast that emotion out to the universe, they're going to say, "Oh, she's at the country station. She must be happy there. I'm going to bring her the same emotion back." So that means if this feels like defeat, or if this feels like I can't do it, or if this feels like it's never going to happen, then the universe is going to bring you more of that back. And so your idea of the emotions, or my idea for you of the emotions, is to step into a place where you're feeling more of the emotions of where you want to be. So step into courage, step into confidence, step into passion in order to get yourself to that place. So you're sending that vibe of, I'm confident, I'm capable of transformation, I'm capable of taking that energy from the sun and bringing it within me and shining the light on all of the things within me that I know that I can release, and I know that I can move forward on, and it's like a spark of energy. So I love that these are wands and that it's a fire sign, because you're sparking it again. So that's interesting as well. So the next shape we have here is the direction from Spirit. So what does Spirit want to tell you? I'm going to stick with the animal cards, but I may pull an Archangel card as a clarification, depending on what we get here. So a lot of times we want to do it all alone. We want to listen to what, or we want to listen to what everyone else is telling us, like, how do I get out of this? I asked this doctor and they diagnosed me with this, and this is, and this is what I was told. And we're expecting everyone else to tell us what to do, but we're not necessarily connecting to our own guidance and dropping into our own heart and saying, okay, I was the one who got myself into this. I know what's best for me because I am me, and I know how to get myself out of this. So the card that we pulled is the Crow, which is a very transformative card, which is amazing because we're looking at transformation here. And it is a woman who is riding. You can see her here. The crow is actually pointing towards the past, and the woman is actually, her head is moving more towards the future. And this is I love this card because I find that crows are very smart. This is the Nine of Feather cards. I'm going to look this up for you. Crows are very smart. They have big brains and little tiny bodies. This is the Nine of Feathers, which in traditional tarot is actually the Nine of Swords. It's an air card, of course, because it's a bird. And so the message from Spirit that I get from this, you have a Sun card, and now you have a Moon card. The Sun is more about the masculine and transforming physical things and logical things, and the Moon is more about the feminine side, transforming the spirit. And so this is an interesting card that actually came from Spirit for you today. This can be about grief and darkness and fear. So I get the sense that it's a choice for you, that you could actually choose to stay in grief about what it is that's going on with you, or to stay in some kind of fear, to stay in despair. But we really want to transform you out of that, and to know that you can bring the light in, and to know that you can be the butterfly. So this is also about integration. So because it's a message from Spirit, it makes me think that you can integrate new things into what you're already doing. And this is awakening. So if you have not connected in with your spiritual side, I suggest that you do that. through oracle cards, through readings with myself or someone else, through asking your body questions, through using a pendulum, through meditation, through journaling, through nature and wandering in the forest, through hot baths and self-care, and really just allowing yourself to awaken to a different way of life. So the message here is have courage, face your fears, and embrace all of who you are. I love that too, because a lot of times we tend to feel like we are only a human and we're not in a spiritual place. And we're actually two things. We're a soul in a physical body. We are feminine, moonlight, spirituality, emotional, and we are also masculine, logical, human. We are both of these things in a human body in this place, and we're very powerful. So allow that power to help you transform and to help you grow and to light the fire and to use your own guidance, to step into a place where you trust your own guidance about what it is that you need and what it is that you want. So the next place is more inner wisdom. So again, let's step into that inner wisdom for yourself about what it is that your body is trying to tell you. So if you do have an autoimmune condition of the throat, your body is saying, when is it my turn? So what happens with the throat is that we shut it off and we put everyone else first, and we're people pleasers and we're overgivers, and we feel like we need to do all of those things or we're going to disappoint people or they won't love us anymore. And so we just keep giving and giving and giving to everyone else, but we're not actually doing what we want. We're not doing what is best for us. And then we get stuck into a place of obligation where we feel we have to continue that, or we'll feel guilty if we don't. And so this could be present life stuff. It could be past life stuff. It could be childhood stuff. So interesting. That is what your throat is telling you if you have a condition of the throat. So what is this information here? So what you know deep down about the situation. So I got the wolf in reverse, which is the 9 of fossils. And that is your wolfy card. Of course, the wolf has a crow sitting right beside it. So your inner self is whispering. Your inner self is actually the wolf, and your spirit guidance is actually the crow. So that's an interesting card to pull it at this point in the reading. So let's check in with the 9 of fossils. The 9 of fossils in this particular book is a pentacle card. So it's the 9 of pentacles, which is earth. So your inner self is saying you can be confident. You do have the expertise that you need. You can be dedicated to something else if you allow yourself to transform and shift what you've been doing in the past, and allow yourself to put some fire underneath your butt. Trust the source is going to guide you, and to know that you can be self-reliant, and you don't need all the doctors and all of the massage therapists and all the naturopaths and everyone else to tell you what you need, that you can actually connect into your inner guidance or learn how, and that you know what you need. And so if everyone else is telling you different things and you're like, I don't know what to do, then what everyone else is saying is that you do. So listen to yourself and listen to your own inner guidance, and be true to who you are and speaking your truth and what it is that you want, and move forward on that. Set some boundaries. Allow yourself to connect in with yourself, and use that crow, which is higher guidance, allowing them to whisper in your ear so that you can move forward and you can trust your own guidance even more. This card is is also about maturity and accomplishment. So I like that you can mature into a place where you are trusting yourself and where you are being more confident, and you can accomplish what it is that you want when you step into that place. And the last card is the future or the immediate outcome if it were to unfold naturally. So if you weren't to make any changes at all, or if you were to make some changes based on what you're doing now and based on what you've changed already, then what is your outcome likely to be? So let's take a look at that. Taking a couple of deep breaths from you while you're here. I want you to think about inhaling love, exhaling anything that's not serving you. Again, inhaling love, exhaling what's not serving you. So the card we got is the Two of Pentacles. And it's upside down. So this Pentacles card, the two is about a choice. You know that monkeys can be very cheeky, and fossils, the Pentacles, is it's definitely about a choice. If you look at the bottom, there's a yin yang on this card, which means there needs to be balance. So even though things may be looking dark, there's likely some lightness in that darkness, and even though things may be looking light, there will still be some darkness in the light, because that's where balance comes from. So this makes me think that I love it that the bottom one, you're seeing this in reverse. So when I look at this card, this one is actually in the past, and he's holding this one into the future. So it makes me think that how you've been treating yourself and how you've been living and treating your body and your experiences, it's now time to keep that in the past and to release those decisions and actions and some of those thoughts and beliefs, and move into a future that is higher, that is better, that feels more comfortable. I'm just going to read how they depict this card in this deck, because it did come up in reverse. So in reverse, it makes me think that you may have given up at this point in time, and you may just be thinking, this is for the birds. I'm just going to do exactly what the doctors tell me because I have no idea. And I want you to know that you do, that you can sink into who you are and ask Source for help, and you can make the decision that is best for you and not necessarily what the doctors think you should do. The story for myself around that, when I had an autoimmune condition, was I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which is an overactive thyroid, and I had all sorts of weird signs and symptoms. I was holding on to a lot of fear. I was not setting boundaries. I was a chameleon in a lot of my relationships, where I just jumped into a relationship and I allowed myself to become what I thought the other person needed from me, rather than being more consistent and confident in myself. I was always taught as a kid, to be quiet and to be to not necessarily speak up, and to the term that I'm thinking in my head is to be quiet and not speak up unless spoken to, so be seen and not heard. And so that's definitely a throat condition. And so if you are in that place, then you could be stuck in, I'm going to listen to what everyone else is telling me. I'm going to be stuck in my past, and I don't have the ability to choose myself because I'm not connecting to myself. I'm not connecting to my higher guidance. I'm not allowing myself to step into a place of more confidence and to be cheeky like the monkey. And so if the monkey is upside down and the monkey is not feeling happy and cheeky and playful, then you are not connected to yourself, and you're not connected to your own guidance, and you're not connected to what it is that you need and what you want and what you desire. So the message is of this card in the upright position is to discover what you really want. So if you are currently in this place where you're allowing everyone else to decide for you, then that is what your future will be. You're going to continue to allow everyone else to decide for you rather than to step into a place of what it is that you want. So I instill courage and confidence in you, and I suggest that you step into yourself and you connect to your own guidance and you ask, what is it that what is it that I want? What is it that I need? Can I step into a place of my own divinity? Can I step into a place of harmony where I don't have to change my whole entire life and do things totally and completely differently, but I can take small steps forward and actually change things a little bit at a time in order to experience great differences? Can I bring some light to the situation and transform? Can I use water in order to help heal me? Can I do more self-care and experience transformation that way? Can I put a fire underneath my own butt and climb higher? Can I introduce Source and know that Source is there and know that I have a spiritual side and an emotional side that can allow me to move forward into what it is that I want to be? Can I be the lone wolf and go against the grain of my norm and what the people around me may be telling me to do, allowing Source to whisper in my ear? Can I take this cheeky monkey and make decisions that I know are best for myself and not for everyone else or not what everyone else is telling me? Because honestly, with my throat, my endocrinologist gave me some medicine that took me from a place of crazy, insane insomnia, very high heart rate, excessive sweating, to a place where I sat on the couch and was very depressed, and I didn't really care if my house burnt down around me. And the endocrinologist said, okay, that will balance your thyroid, and then we'll just give you some medicine, and then you'll have to be on that medicine the rest of your life because we're going to ablate your thyroid and basically kill a piece of your body and just put you on medicine to keep you stable for the rest of your life. And I was like, I like you, buddy. You're a really cool dude, but you're not doing that. So I ended up transforming my entire life almost. I was working a 9-to-5 job. I eventually quit that. I was very masculine and very logical, and I ended up, obviously, I'm doing psychic tarot card readings now. I pulled in my own feminine side and connected to my own source. And I healed my own throat. I had to do a lot of changes that had to do with food because I gave up gluten and I was low on magnesium, and I had to do a lot of work to release fears and to set different boundaries. I moved across the country twice. I get out into nature in a different way now. So exercise for me is not about go, 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 do, do, do. It's about being. So I want you to know that you have control, that you can listen to your own guidance and connect into source, and that you don't have to do what everyone else is saying, that you can choose to be your own cheeky monkey, and you can choose to bring more light into your future. So I really adored that reading today. I'm hoping that was helpful. If you want a reading from me, you can purchase one in my store at yltcoaching.com. I also do one-to-one coaching with people, so if you do have some kind of condition, I can help you with that and help you transition over time in order to get you from where you are at that country music station to where you want to be. So namaste wherever you are in your health and healing journey, and may you choose to be the cheeky monkey who knows exactly what you want. May you choose to allow Source to whisper in your ear and to have the confidence and fire underneath your butt in order to transform your life into what it is that you want it to look like and who you want to be. So namaste. Have a beautiful day wherever you are.